Well, hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of Whiskey Callin' here. Thursday night, nice, beautiful summer eve. And I went out for a walk and went for a little drink and a little dinner, and picked up a couple random bottles here from the liquor store just now. Um, kind of went a little bit more budget this time, and $76 for two bottles combined. So it was pretty good deal, I hope. So we're gonna sort of check these out. I've never heard of either of these. Well, I've heard of this one before. I've never tried it. Called the famous Grouse. It's a blended Scotch, 40% alcohol. And yeah, they sort of say here the finest Scotch whiskies expertly blended and matured in seasoned oak casks for a rich, rounded sweetness. So this will be interesting. Yeah, they're saying here too on the back is when you arrive at your famous, rich, sweet, well-rounded whiskey. They have a few other things in there, but that's basically what they're saying. So we're gonna give this a try. So hope you guys got a dram out yourself as well tonight. I'm sure you do. Okay, that's a very strong nose right off the hop here. Whoa, I'll pour it first to sort of get a better smell of it. Kind of a nice, kind of a bit of a lighter color, that's for sure. Here's another look at the label for you folks. Not a bad looking label. Kind of a nice name, the famous Grouse. I've actually seen this around a little bit here and there. Never tried it. Never really heard. I've heard too many specific takes on it. So we'll give this a try here. Yeah, so the smell is it's pretty pungent. You know, I gotta say, very Yeah, I'm guessing it's got a little bit of a, if you drink something that's not aged really long, has that kind of that weedy kind of a, almost a vinegary, weedy something going on. It reminds me of that a little bit. It doesn't. I don't think it has an age statement on here. But yeah, it has. To me, it smells young. We'll see if it's. And it's kind of almost gotta say, kind of a wheat paint thinner combination. That's what it smells like. Wheated paint thinner. I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, it's a little bit pungent, the smell. Almost a touch off-putting, I might say even. But anyways, let's have a sip. You know what? It doesn't taste anything like it smells. It's actually much lighter. Not near as strong as it smells, but it's got a nice. It's almost got a little bit of a nice mellow sweetness to it. Maybe almost a little bit of a lemon, a lemony, almost like a lemony honey. You might want to say a light lemon honey. Interesting. Now that I smell it after taking a sip, I almost kind of feel that kind of coming back there a little bit as well. Now, a little bit of that paint thinner thing is coming back here a little bit just now. And but there's kind of a light lemon aftertaste, kind of the finish. It doesn't have a really strong finish. It's kind of, the initial kind of lion's share of the finish kind of ends real quick. And then there's a little bit of a very, very light trailing, lemony sort of trail through. You know, I'm almost getting like a little bit of a, you know, if you have like lemon bread, or lemon loaf, or kind of a poppy seed muffin. You know, there's maybe something like that going on. You know, which is kind of an interesting taste. But yeah, there's definitely some sweetness to it from that perspective. So it's got kind of a, you know, mellow, but it's got a little bit of a bite to it too, right in the middle. Kind of feeling that a little bit. Yeah, you know, every sip is growing on me a little bit. I'm having, every sip is a slightly different experience actually, to a degree. Of course, there's overlap, but it's kind of got a bit of a, you know, yeah, it's interesting. Of course, this is just opening the bottle, so you have to sit with it for a while to really get an overall feeling for it. But yeah, this one's got me a little bit confounded. I mean, the smell, I thought, oh no, I'm not going to like this. But as I taste it, it's a little bit more complex than I maybe would have first thought. Just in that, it seems to taste a little different every sip, which is kind of fun. It's kind of a fun journey a little bit. Yeah. You know, I think I picked this bottle up for, I think it was $32 or something, $33. So for that price, I mean, this is there's nothing wrong with this at that price. I'll tell you that. It's actually kind of nice. It's not bad. And I mean, other than the smell, I mean, it might not scare away guests who've never tried Scotch before. They might say, oh, okay, you know, it's not too bad. Okay, well, I'm going to clear my palate here. And then I'm going to get into the second bottle I bought tonight. And that is a bourbon. And this one, I think I picked up for around $40 or so. It's a Rebel Yell. I've never really, I think I've seen this or vaguely seen this around somewhere, but I haven't really tried it or heard anyone's take on this one as well. It's Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, handcrafted according to the original time-honored recipe since 1849. 40% alcohol. It says the award-winning American whiskey that honors the rebel in us all, in all of us. Okay, it's distilled and aged by Rebel Yell Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky. So not a lot of information here, I guess. But yeah, a very reasonable price. So we will see. We'll see what this one's like. Yeah, see if I can get the cap off here. Oh, there we go. There's one of these things. So hope you're enjoying either a Scotch or a bourbon or just any whiskey. This is kind of a weird combination to go from a Scotch to a whiskey here, but I kind of like to do that sometimes. You try something new and kind of compare and contrast for fun. Okay, let's take the top off this broad. Oh yeah, that was a good one. Okay, all right. This is right away smelling kind of that classic bourbon sweetness. A little bit of a lighter version, a little bit of a lighter sweetness than maybe some bourbons. There's almost a combination between brown sugar and honey is what I'm kind of smelling. As soon as I open up this one, let's kind of smell this in the glass here. Yeah. A bit of a brown sugar, a bit of honey. And there's something else I just can't quite place. Almost maybe a little bit of molasses smell. Kind of it's not super dark, but it's got a little bit of darkness to it, but not super dark. Kind of smell a little bit of the alcohol there in a good way. Okay, let's have a sip. Ooh. fairly, first sip tastes, and it could be just coming off that Scotch, which is probably very different tasting. This has got a little bit more of a, kind of almost a linear taste when I first start. Almost tastes a little bit like, a little bit light, a little bit watery almost, but then all of a sudden, about 2/3 into the sip, you get that bourbon grip, I like to call it, where it all of a sudden just grips a spot in your tongue and just holds on, almost like a bug biting your whole tongue in a great way. I love it when bourbons have that grip. This has that, and so the spice kicks in, and then the finish kind of is a little bit more eventful than the beginning part of the sip. But anyways, that's the first sip. I'm going to try another one. Oh, you know what? Same thing. Same thing. First half of the sip, relatively uneventful. Second half of the sip, things get moving. And it's kind of interesting. And as I'm talking here, the aftertaste is, kind of lingers and kind of kicks in, almost a little bit of a delayed reaction, and then it kind of kicks in. I might be getting a little bit of the lemony taste I was getting from the famous Grouse coming through too, a little bit on the end. So I'm going to take another little tiny sip of water in the middle here. Okay, yeah, now let's try one more sip here. Yeah, you know what? All three sips have kind of held true to that. I'm kind of finding a bit of I dare say, almost a little bit of a bland, non-event first half of the sip. And then the second half, it kind of makes up for it and kind of all of a sudden jumps right in the middle, and then has a fairly strong, long, a little bit of spicy, a little bit of heat, grippy sort of mid sip and finish. It's not too bad. It's maybe lacking a little bit in. It's not maybe as rich as some bourbons. So you feel a little bit robbed on the first half of the sip, but again, for the price, it was relatively reasonably priced. I'm going to run back here and just have one more sip of the famous Grouse again, just as a fun contrast. Oh boy, yeah, the smell of this famous Grouse is just quite the event, I gotta say. Yeah, you gotta say that the famous Grouse is a lot more flavorful, but not all the flavors of this famous Grouse are quite as pleasant as they maybe could be. But it's much more flavorful. Yeah, I think if I had to pick between these two, I think the famous Grouse would win out just in this particular sitting. Don't dislike the Rebel Yell. It's not bad, and it's not particularly bad, that's for sure. It's just a little bit, that first half of the sip being a little bit too bland almost for me. It takes away from it a little bit, but it's not bad. It's not bad. And this famous Grouse, though, it's kind of an interesting sip. Like, I'm actually really looking forward to kind of sipping, a couple more of these over time, and kind of getting to the bottom of where it settles in terms of some of these different, it tastes a little bit different every sip to a degree. So I kind of like that actually. So anyways, folks, I hope you had a dram of your own, or if you've tried one of these, let me know what you think, and I hope you guys have a great Thursday night and a great weekend. See you soon, everybody.